Okay, is it visible? The screen is visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, so now we are going to start with today's session. Earlier, what we have discussed so far, then I would like to discuss about this all in a quick, as a quick review, right? So we have discussed about the syllabus. Then we discuss about the basically unit impulse signal, and unit step signal, ramp signal, sinusoidal signal, exponential signal, sine function that is known as a signum function, right? Signum function. Then we have discussed about the sinc function and Gaussian function. We have derived equations for all of this, and I have presented a graphical picture about all these 8 kind of a signal. Now in the same direction, we have discussed about the continuous time signal and discrete time signal, and I emphasize the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal, and then move forward with the impulse signal is the first signals that we have addressed in the last few lectures. Unit impulse signals, how we can define this, what is the important applications of a unit step signal in communication, that all these parts we have already discussed in earlier lectures. Then we have even discussed about the another signals known as a unit step signal and ramp signal, and we have even established the relationship between impulse signal, unit step signal, and ramp signal. That is the integration of every unit impulse signal will turn to the unit step signal, and integration of unit step signals will give us the ramp signal. And reversely, if we take the differentiation of ramp signal, it gives us a unit step signal, and if we take the differentiation of a unit step signal, it will give us the unit step signal. So this part we have already covered, and then now we have even discussed about the some other signals like as exponential signals, and move further in the same direction. We have discussed about the signum function, then we have discussed about the sinc function, and Gaussian function, right? So these are the parts that we have already discussed. Now today we basically discuss about some classification of the signal. So today we discuss about the classification of signal. So signal can be broadly classified basically into the 5 category. The first category is known as a continuous time and a discrete time signal. Continuous time and discrete time signal. Right. This is the first category. So signal will be fall in continuous time signal or discrete time signal, or it may falls is a analog signal or digital signal. Analog and digital signal. Right. So this one is the second category. The third category is known as a periodic and aperiodic signal. Periodic and aperiodic signal. We will discuss about all this. Aperiodic signal is also sometimes known as a non-periodic signal. Then we basically discuss about the energy and power signal. Energy and power signal. And lastly, we will discuss about a deterministic and periodic signal. Deterministic and periodic, probabilistic signal. So these are the something on which we will discuss more in a more detail, and we basically emphasis more on the important category of this is energy and power signal, right? So first of all, we will start with the continuous time and discrete time signal. You have already flavor of this signals earlier, because in this in the first lecture or first or second lecture we have discussed about the continuous time signal and discrete time signal. But here, as a revision point of view, or to give you some new idea about this continuous time and discrete time signals, we are also addressing the same signal in today's lecture also, right? So these are the 5 signals that we broadly every signals will broadly classify basically in any one or maybe in more than one category, right? So some signal maybe fall in the first category, or may also be fall in the third category, or some signal may falls in almost all of the category. That is also possible, right? So these are the basically the types of a signal we can consider, and any of the signals will fall either in one category or more than one category. So first we discuss about the first category, and this first category is the continuous time and discrete time signal, right? And discrete time signal. So this signal we have already discussed earlier. In a continuous time signal, every values of time axis, its time axis is continuously, and for every continuous values of time axis, we have a continuous we have some values of amplitude. So this is known as a signal. This is simply known as a sinusoidal signal. And in this sinusoidal signal, we can say this signal g of t, its amplitude, it does continuously vary. If you pick up any, if I pick up any of the point here, here, or here, so at every times I have a new value of amplitude, right? At a t1 time, I may have an amplitude value of a1. At t2 time, I may have an amplitude value of a2, or may have an amplitude value of a3 here. So this is example of continuous time signal, or this is example of CT signal, continuous time signal, right? Make sure sometime you are getting a repetitive value, right? For example, this signal, we are just discussing about the signal, right? So if I consider this signal from 0 to t1 time, or maybe some time here t half time and t half time, if I choose any of the points here as a t1 and t2, so I can have a same value of amplitude 1, right? So you can say, if this is the signal g of t, so if any value of g between 0 to t2, g of t is repetitive 1 from 0 to any of the value of t half, and it is -1 for any of the value which is repetitively from t half to t. It is -1. So what you can say for this kind of a signal? This kind of a signal is also a continuous time signal. This is also a continuous time signal. Why? Because even though the amplitudes are remains a constant, or you can have a repetitive amplitude at a t1 and t2 times, it is a repetitive value at t1 and t2 time, but still the time is continuously. How you are measuring the values? You are measuring continuously, even though the values are constant, but you are measuring continuously values. So that is known again as a continuous time signal. So continuous time signal is nothing to be the continuous time signal has nothing to deal with the amplitude. It has to deal with only the x-axis, right? If we are measuring the some signals continuously, then it is known as a continuous time signal. Okay. Now, contradictory to this, if I draw some signal, sinusoidal signal, but this sinusoidal signals are sampled at some periodical intervals, like this, it is samples on the particular intervals only, right? 0, TS, 2 TS, and so. So this kind of signals are not measured continuously. They are measured periodically. And what is the period for a measurement? So this period for measurement is known as a TS, right? We are measuring this value at every periodic time interval. And then it is even known as a sampling interval, right? So the values are available with us is available only at a sampling interval. We can have a value of g of 0, or we can have a value of g of ts, but we don't have a value between 0 to ts. We don't have measure anything between 0 to ts. Similar way, we have the value of signal at g of ts or g of 2ts, but we don't have the value between ts and 2ts. So we can say the signals amplitude of the signal does measure at a discrete time interval, not a continuous time interval. So this kind of a signal is known as a discrete time signal. Okay. And how we generally define the signal? So this signal is generally defined as the amplitude is defined as a g of 0, g of ts, and so. This is the amplitude of a g of 2 ts, and so. So generally we can define as a g of n ts. So it does mean this shows the amplitude of g of t at nts time period, nts time. And some of the text, it has been considered the time period ts is always there. So rather than g of nts, why not define it is a g of n, right? So n is the sampling interval. So rather than add the ts, we can simply define it as g of n, because the variable parameter is n, ts is constant, right? So a variable parameter is n. So we can define this one as a g of 1, first sample, g of 0. This is the first sample, so g of 1, g of 2, like this, right? So that is also different way to define this. So this signal is defined as a g of n, right? G of n means the amplitude of the signal g of t couple at nth time period, right? So that way you can even define. Now, this is also like this. Yeah, if you have a square waveform and this value are also continuously, it's changing in discretely, it is constant, right? So if for similar signal, for similar continuous time signal, if you define a discrete time signal, so it shows from 0 to t half cycle, it is 1, and from t half to t cycle, that is a -1. This signal is a -1. So this value are -1. So that is also way how you define g of n signal, right? So this is a discrete time signal. This is also a discrete time signal. Now, so now I think it's clear. A continuous time signal is a signal which is measured at every particular instant of time, right? It is measured continuously. Or discrete time signal is a signal which is measured at periodical interval of time, and this period is can be defined as a sampling interval Ts. Now we discuss about the second category of this signal, and that is analog and digital signal. See, in earlier discussion of a continuous time and discrete time signal, we have defined this category. Continuous time signal and discrete time is basically depends on x-axis, right? If x-axis is discretized, then it is known as a discrete time signal. But if x-axis is continuous, then we can say it is a continuous time signal. But it's not relevant, it's not related basically with the amplitude. But now the second category, which is simply known as a analog and digital signal, which depends on the amplitude, right? Whether amplitude is discretized or amplitude is continuously. So this second category doesn't depends on x-axis, it depends on a amplitude, right? Okay, so we can say the any signal which is analog, its amplitude uh, is continuously vary, is continuously vary, right? It continuously vary. And if something is defined as a digital, that is, or you can say this has infinite values of amplitude, it has an infinite amplitude values, right? But a digital, okay, is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So if we talk about the digital signal, so for digital signals, the amplitude has some finite values, right? Finite value means you can count. It cannot have infinite values. So if I draw the two signal here, I can say like this one. This is a sinusoidal signal, right? So what you say this about this signal? So this signal is has a amplitude. Has amplitude is continuously vary, right? If between 0 to 2 pi, we can have a infinite amplitudes are there. So this is example of analog signal. This is example of analog signal, right? Because the amplitudes you can take, if I can divide this signal up to infinite interval, ts, 2ts, etc. So for every sampling interval, I can have a new value of amplitude. Every times we have a new value of amplitude. So such kind of a signal is known as an analog signal. Yeah, but but it is also known as a continuous time signal, because if you see the x-axis and if you see the y-axis, both are continuously vary. So y-axis does continuously vary means amplitude does continuously vary. That means it is analog. And x-axis does continuously vary. So this is example of analog and a continuous time signal. This is example of analog and continuous time signal. Now, if I take this signal, this is a pure digital, not necessary every digital signal may be a binary signal. Sometimes digital signals may be very like this way. Uh, they have a three amplitudes, right? They may have three amplitude. So it may have a +1 amplitude, or it may have a 0.5 amplitude, or it may have a -1 amplitude, right? But there is no fourth possibility. The signal can have either +1 amplitude, 0.5 amplitude like here, and or it may -1 amplitude, but it is finite, right? So what you can say about the signals, the amplitude doesn't continuous, amplitude does vary, but it has a finite value of samples. It has a finite value of sample. It doesn't have an infinite value of sample. So this is a case of digital signal, as the amplitude has some finite samples, right? This is a digital signal, but if you see the x-axis, so you can say the x-axis does continuously vary over the time. So it's a again example of digital and continuous time signal. This is a digital signal, because analog or digital, it depends on the amplitude value, and amplitude values are have finite values. Why? Because the amplitude does belongs either +1, right here, it may have a -1 here, or it may have a something in between as a 0.5. So it can take only three values. So 3 is a finite. So we can say the signal is a digital signal, but it is continuous time signal, as it is measured continuously over the time. Now, if I draw the signal like here, this is a signal, right? I take the signal over here. Now, you let me know about this signal, whether this is a analog signal or digital signal. This signal is a peak amplitude A, and it's a negative peak amplitude. Now, what is your comments about this signal? Is this signal analog signal or digital signal?
Analog.
Analog.
Analog, yeah, exactly
Analog.
right. Because even though okay, and it is a continuous time signal or discrete time signal?
Discrete time signal.
Discrete.
Discrete.
Right, it is a discrete time signal, but this is a digital, not sorry, it's a not sorry, it's not digital, it's analog, right? Why? Because the amplitude, if we look at the amplitude, so even though x-axis is discretized, but amplitude does continuously vary. They doesn't have a finite values, right? It continuously vary over the time. So as the amplitude does continuously vary and it has an infinite number of samples, we can say this signal is an analog signal, but the values are taken at a discrete time, so it is a discrete time signal. Now, if I draw the another signal over here, like the sun and this one, right? Assume this all have the same amplitude, -1, and this all have a same amplitude, +1. Now, what you can say about this signal? This signal is analog signal or digital signal?
Maybe digital.
Digital, right? Because it has only two amplitude, +1 or -1. So if you pick up any of the points, so it has only amplitude does belongs here of only -1 and +1. There is no third possibility, right? So two, the amplitude can takes any one of this value at a time. So that have only two values, and this two is a finite. So we can say the amplitude does takes a finite values, and it fluctuates over these finite values. So that's why this is the example of digital signal, but it is measured at a discrete time, so we can say it is a discrete time signal. Okay, so now by combining this both the things, analog and digital and discrete time and continuously time signal, we can have a four kind of a properties of signal, four kind of a classification of signal. Its signals may be either analog or continuous time, analog or discrete time, or it may have a digital and continuous time signal, or it may have a digital and discrete time signal, right? So I think it is clear. Yes. Okay, so now we will move to the third category, and this third category is known as a periodic and aperiodic signal. Periodic and aperiodic signal. So some signal will repeat its pattern after some particular interval of time. So I can say this is a seasonal change, right? You can say the seasonal change in India, right? Especially in India, I'm talking because in other country there is no clear classification of season. So you can say there is winter. After winter, there would be summer, and then after summer, there will be rain, right? And then again, it will be repeat. So this is a 1 year, but second year it will be again repeat. So first 3 months of winter, then sorry, 4 months and 4 months of summer, and then 4 months of rain, right? So what you can say, this is seasonal changes repetitively, right? After every 1 year, the season will repeat. Okay, so this January you have a winter, next January you have again a winter. So in a 1 year, the every 1 year the seasons are repeat itself, right? So this is known as a cyclic changes. We can say cyclic. It means periodic. It's say every time it repeat after some particular interval of times. And if this interval is fixed, if it is interval is fixed, that we can say is a periodic signal. So here the same happens with the signal also. For any of the signal, if some signal will repeat itself after some period, after some time interval, we can say. Uh, is it visible? Right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can say if I draw one signal here, let's say this is a sinusoidal signal, right? So after some time, it repeat itself, right? It is second cycle will start, and then there will be a third cycle will start, right?
Sir,
So yes,
it is not visible.
not visible. Yeah, I think there was some problem. Okay. Is it okay? Is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what you observe here, this signal is simply a signal as a g of t signal, right? So what you observe over here, you may observe the signal does continuously repeat itself after some periodic interval of time. After some periodic interval of time, so you can see this signal will complete its first cycle here. So this time period is known as a one cycle. This time period. After this cycle complete, it does repeat itself, right? So after t cycle it repeat, and then it again repeat itself after this t time. So such kind of a signal is known as a periodic signal. And what is the periodic signal is basically range from minus infinity to infinity, because every cycle, if you pick up any one cycle you pick up, if I pick up this cycle, so earlier cycle is similar like this, right? And the next cycle is also similar like this, right? So if you pick up any cycle, then this cycle, the signal of that cycle is exactly identical to the another cycle also. So such kind of a signal is known as a periodic signal. So the condition to check whether the signal is periodic or not, we need to check whether the g of t, g of t signal is exactly equal to the t plus minus nt0. Nt0 means if we move, nt, I say it's a T0, T0, T0. T0 I will consider as a one period, right? To complete the one cycle. So it means this signal G of T is identical to other signal of G of located at G of T plus minus NT0. NT0 means if I choose N1, right? So that means G of T is exactly same as the cycle T. I choose N is equal to 1, this cycle, right? Earlier cycle. And if I choose G of T, if I choose this signal, then it is exactly similar of this one and this one. So that is similar to the signal which is delayed by the same amount. That is similar. Rather than n1, if I choose n is equal to 2, it means any signal g of t is exactly similar of the signal which is delayed by some 2t0 amount, or maybe advanced by some 2t0 amount, right? It means, so if I pick up any, it's this definition, this condition will let us know if I pick up any of the signals g of t, so it's exactly identical to the signals which has been observed in the past, or it may be observed in the future also, right? It may be delayed by some signal, exactly delayed by some amount of nt0, it may be of advanced by some nt0, right? And plus nt0 means advanced by that amount, nt0 amount, and minus nt0 means delay by that amount. So any signal if you pick up, that will be exactly identical to any of the signals which has been already presented earlier, means advanced signal or maybe some delay version of the signal. So that is known as a periodic signal, right? So now non-periodic definition is clear. So for non-periodic signal, what you write? The signal which is not periodic in nature, right, which is not non-periodic, is known as a non-periodic signal. So we can say if any signal, if you pick up, and that if it's not equal to g of t is not equal to g of t plus minus nt 0, right, that is known as a non-periodic signal, right. Example, for an example, this is a signal, right. Okay, this is a signal. Now what happens here? This signal does exist here between 0 to t0, but after t0 to 220, the signal doesn't exist. And if you pick up from 2t0 to 30, again the signal doesn't exist. So signal will exist only single time, not multiple times. May not repeat itself after some time. So this is example of a non-periodic signal. So here we can say this g of t is a non-periodic signal. Right now, one interesting things that I would like to you take a note of this. It may be asked in many times in GATE examination also, that whatever the signals you are observing in your laboratory, right, generated by the function generator and some other device, is the signal periodic or non-periodic? So basically these signals are non-periodic, right? Because the periodic signal is hardly to observe the periodic signal. To observe the periodic signal, it should be start from minus infinity and it should be approach to plus infinity. Then and then we can say any of the g of t, it should be equal to g of t plus minus nt 0. But if it starts somewhere and ending somewhere, so it is non-periodic signal, right? In case of our laboratory session, what happens? We make a switch on, and once we make a switch on, the device will start to operate. And once the device will start to operate, so that is the time t is equal to 0. But earlier, when you have not operated the switch, right, or you have started the switch on 24th December, but what's about the 23rd December? So on 23rd December, your devices are off. So they are not generating a periodic signal. So most of the periodic signals they are observing here, it's an illusion of that one. But exactly periodic signal maybe start from somewhere and ending, not start from somewhere and ending from somewhere, but it is continuously moving or moving from minus infinity to plus infinity. So that is the very basic things that you have to note down, right. Okay, now the next very important category that we have to observe is energy and power signal, right. This both the terms are very similar, and you make a notice whenever we talk about the energy, right? So we don't consider the time over which the energy are generated. But if we consider the energy and time together, then it is known as a power of the signals, right? For example, if you have a solar panel, if we have a solar panel, and we can say there are 3 kilowatt energy are generated, right? In this, there are 3 kilojoule energies are generated, right? And but we don't mention in how much times this energy are generated, right? So we can say this is my energy, this is the energy which is generated, 30 kilojoule are generated. Now the second question you may ask to them, in how much times this energy are generated? So they will tell this is the 13 hours, the time is given as a 13 hours, right? Within this 30 hour, this 30 kilojoule energy are generated. So we can simply measure what is the power. Power is energy divided by the time. So if we can say the energy 30 kilojoule, that is divided by 30 hours, right? So how much power is available per hour or per minute? So that is the we can divide is a 1 kilojoule power is available. So that is known as a power, right? Similar way, I give you one more examples that may be more suitable with you. Whenever you have a new car, right? So we discuss about the torque and all. We discuss about the is it visible, right? We discuss about the torque and all. So what is the torque and power? So torque and power is something which whenever you press on accelerator, so instantly you are getting boost up in the power, right? So more power means you have a high pickup, you have a good pickup. So those bike or car which are in the range of a higher cc, so they can generate the more torque or more power. So power is basically how much energy you are generating in a second, 1 second. So if energy divided by the time period over which it is generated, that gives you a power. So now first here we will discuss about the energy, and then we are going to discuss about the power of the signal. I hope the things are visible from my side and it is clearly audible too. Yes.
It is
Is
not
it any
visible.
problem? Not visible. Yeah. Like 1 minute. It's now visible. It's now visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So if I have to measure the energy and the power, it's a, for a fun. I will give you one more example. If you want to differentiate, if you sumo pelwan, right? You can see, if you see the WWF, and also people the fighters are very fatty, right? So you can say lots of energy in them, right? Lots of energy in them. But if you have to measure the power, so power means if they make a one push, so how much energy they can instill on them, that is known as a power. So that is means you are considering those energy in a pipe. If you are making a fat of someone, right? So what the energy flow are there on this fat or on this push up, that you consider as a power. A similar way for any of the signals, if you have to measure the energy, so energy is basically defining the size of a signal. So if you have a size, if you have a signal like this one, right, with some with some amplitude a and with some amplitude of minus a, or I may better describe like this way. This is a example. If I describe like this is a signal, right? This is a signal which is exists from 0 to t, right? Now they have some amplitude a, right? And I have to measure the energy of the signal. So energy of the signal, how can I measure? I can measure this. I have to find the area of the signal, but area may be positive or negative also. So better thing, I take the square of the area, right? I take the square of area, because if I find area only, so sometimes the signal will not be like this, sometimes the signal would be negative also. So to make it always positive measure rather than positive and negative, we can have an equation to find the energy is the energy Eg. Eg means the energy of a signal G of t. This is known as a signal G of t. That is to area is the area under the curve G of t whole square. Why G of t whole square? Because we need only the positive number, not a negative number, right? So if we consider this way, so where we can say how you find the area, so that is the integration of any signal G of t whole square dt, right? What does it mean? Integration for whole the duration minus infinity to infinity of the signal absolute value of G of t whole square. So that is the area, that is the area of G of t whole square, right? That is the area of G of t whole square. So that is known as the energy, right? Now any signal energy signal is this energy signal must have finite energy, must have, this is very important things that you need to learn, have a finite energy. I mean, the energy should always be lies within the range of 0 to infinity. It should not be infinity. Yes, not, it's less than infinity, right? It should never be a infinity. So we can say energy may be a zero. Sometimes the energy may be a zero. That is okay. That is valid assumption. But energy should not be a finite, right? So those signals are the energy signals. So what is the condition of the signal? The signal which has a finite energy, these signals are falls in the category of a energy signal. So that is another statements that we need to write here. Energy signals must have, it's not should have, it must have finite energy. This must have a finite energy, and only the signal which has a finite energy, they will fall under this category. So what is important over here, I will draw the two signal. I can say I can draw like this way. This is my signal G1 of t, right? And I draw the another signal. It's exponentially increasing, right? A is positive. A is greater than 1. And here I draw the another signal. It's e raised to minus 80, right? So it approaching to 0, is approaching to 0 as the t approach to infinity. So I give you this two signal, and I will tell you which one has a finite energy. So obviously this one has an infinite energy, right? Because as this t approach to infinity, the signal approach to infinity, right? So you cannot say it has a finite energy, because every times it is approaching to infinity. If, as I say, for this one, what happens here? T approach to infinity, then amplitude here is also approach to infinity. But here what happens? The t approach to infinity and the amplitude approach to 0. So you can say this one has some, I not like this one. I drew this signal like this way. This one has a infinite energy and this one has a finite energy. Right. So what we can say, what we can conclude here, this is not energy signal. This is not energy signal. But this one is a energy signal. So what is important for energy signal? It has a finite energy. And if one very interesting things that I would like to tell, this is my periodic signal, right? This is the periodic signal, minus infinity to plus infinity, g of t. Uh, it is energy signal or not? The questions I just ask you about this signal, which I have drawn over here. This g of t signal is simply sinusoidal signal, a sine omega 0 t, right? Now you let me know, and this is a periodic. This is a periodic signal. Now you have to let me know whether it is the energy signal or not. What is the condition you need to have to keep in mind? Energy signal must have a finite energy. So is this signal have a finite energy?
No, sir.
No, exactly not.
No.
Why? Because if I take one cycle, right, 0 to one cycle, right? So it will be if I find the energy of only those areas, so it will be give us some value Eg1. Now if I find the energy of second cycle, so it will give us some energy Eg2, right? If I find for a third cycle, it will give us the energy of Eg3. So my energy Eg is actually Eg1 plus Eg2 plus Eg3, all the energy for cycle 1, cycle 2. This is the energy for cycle 1. This is the energy for cycle 2, right? This is the energy for cycle 3. So how many times I have to add? Because they have infinite cycles. They have infinite cycles. So it means even though EG, this one is a finite, this is also a finite, but if finites are added infinite times, so that EG that we can say, I have to start from something, from all the values. In negative also if you consider, then you have to add this one for infinite times, where n approach infinite. So for every infinite cycles are present, so even though the energy per cycles are finite, but if this all finite values of energy are added for infinite times, it becomes infinite, right? So here what happens is the t approach to infinity, our energy also approach to infinity, and that makes the sense that this is not energy signal. So now from this one we can have a common conclusion. Every periodic signal, right? Any of the periodic signals are not energy signal. Any of them, because in any of the signals the same thing as signal will repeat. Rather than this one, if I choose the square waveform which is continuously moving from minus infinity to infinity, so again we can have the same scenario. So what the main conclusions that we can draw over here is any periodic signal, any periodic signal any of the periodic signal is not an energy signal, not an energy signal. Very important conclusions that we can derive over here. But now then the question comes. Now what is the question here? The question comes over here is how to measure periodic signal. Then because if energy is not a measure of periodic signal, then what is the measure of periodic signal? Then the power comes in a picture. Then the power comes in a picture. So what the power will tell us? The power will tell us that the energy per time, right? Energy per time, that is a power. So what is the definition of power signal? Now the power signal, we can say the power for any of the power signal that we can write here. If you find the power of any signals, that is from my. Yes, keep your microphone on. All the students are requested to keep their microphone on. We are considering the total time intervals are infinity. The total time intervals are infinity. But if we are considering only one cycle, then the signal g of t whole square is divided by. This is divided by This is the area. This is the area under one cycle, right? Why we are considering one cycle? Because second cycle is identical to the first cycle. So there is no need to find the area for all and divided by the total area or total time, right? Rather than we consider only first cycle, right? And then divided by the time period. So this is the time period. T0 is the time period for one cycle, and T, the capital T, is the total duration. So what does it means? The total duration of periodic signal would be infinity, and if you are taking the time average, right, this one is this part is what? This part is the time average. This part is the time average. Why time average? Because we are dividing this by 1 by T0. So that is the time average of signal G of T whole square. Right? This is the time average, right? So it is the area, but area is divided by the time. So if you are considering this is your energy, so its energy is divided by the T0 time period, right? So its energy divided by the time, it becomes a power. So this is the clear definition of power. So the for signal like as a random signal, the power is a measure for every periodic or random signal power is a measure of their size. Right, I think you understand this concept, right? Okay, so now the question comes here, can you find any energy signal which is energy or both? So there is a talk ties, right here. If I can have a rock, and so and you can have this one is energy and this one is a power, right? This one is energy and it's a hand and it's a power, right? So power will try to pull the things over here, energy will try to pull the things over here, but you cannot find any signal. There is no any signal which is energy and power both. Means either pickup signals falls as energy signals in the category of energy signals, or maybe it falls in a category of power signals. So signal may be either classified as a energy signal or power signal, but you cannot find any signal which is energy and power both, right? So this is very important. So here there is no signal which is energy signal as well as power signal, right? So generally for every non-periodic signal, energy can be identified, energy is finite, and for every periodic signal, the power can be identified and power can be measured, but you cannot find any signal which is neither energy sorry, you can not find any signal which is both energy signal as well as power signal. Yes, but reverse is true. there are some signal which which are neither energy signal or power signal. See, or power signal, right? Okay, okay, so last 2 minutes I just give you some example like this. This one you have to tell whether this signal is energy signal or power signal, right? Now let's classify. You have to tell whether the signal is energy signal or power signal. I have this signal like this one. It is exponentially decrease e raised to minus 30, right? So is it energy signal or power signal?
Energy.
Right, this is energy signal, exactly. Because why? What condition you need to check? You need to check as the t approach to infinity, the amplitude approach to 0, right? Okay, now I draw this another signal like this way. Okay, this is the mixing of two signal. minus 1 0, and it's a e raised to minus 80. Is it energy signal or power signal?
Energy signal.
Again energy signal, right? Exactly, energy signal. Okay, now if I draw the signal like this one, this is the, okay, 0 to okay, minus t to t. Is this energy signal or power signal?
Power signal.
No, because here there is no, it's not periodic, right? I have not shown it's periodic because there is no amplitude after t and there is no amplitude after minus t. So it is again energy signal. It's a finite duration. It's a finite duration. Right. And after t, there is no amplitude. After minus t, there is again no amplitude. So if you find its energy is finite. Okay. Now I draw the another signal like, yeah, this one is there. And like this, it is continuously here. It is continuously here. So this signal is energy signal or power signal?
Power signal.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a periodic in nature, right? This dot will say it is moving in both the side as it approaches to minus infinity and plus infinity. So this is example of power signal. Okay, now I have a random signal like as a noise. This is the noise n of t. Is this power signal or energy signal? So any random signal is also a power signal, right? So this is the example of power signal. This is again a power signal. Okay, but now I will draw some other signal like this. It's exponentially increasing e raised to 80. Now what about this signal? It's not energy signal, right?
Power
And
signal.
not yeah, this no, not a power signal. It's not energy and not a power, because if you find the power, so power is also infinite for this, right? So it's not energy because it's continuously increasing. It's not periodic in nature. It's not a periodic in nature. So it may also be if you find the power. So how much time you need to consider? You have to consider whole cycle. Not whole cycle means all the time period from minus infinity to infinity, and then again makes the signal is a neither energy nor power. So this is this kind of a signal which never falls in any of this category. So it's not energy signal nor power signal, not power. Okay. Uh, and the same example of unit step signal also. For unit step signal, you can, if you consider unit step signal, so unit step signal is also not power signal and not energy signal, right? Because it is also continuously moving. It's not periodic in nature. It is continuously moving with the amplitude one. Okay, so I think this is the fine. We need to stop here, and we need to stop here, and I will need to take your presence somewhere. So just be with me. I am connecting with my other devices to take your presence. This lecture is over. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Otherwise, I am connecting with my desktop, and I will take your presence over there. Okay, so it's now audible. I will just take your presence. Then you can leave the meeting. So, sorry for delay. Okay, I have downloaded your attendance. Is it audible? Right now you can leave the meeting. Okay. Have a good day to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.